In an alternative timeline, during the height of World War I, Switzerland maintained its armed neutrality along fortified borders. Infantry soldier Carla sat with her squad in a concrete bunker overlooking the French frontier, their bolt-action rifles at the ready. The alpine air was crisp and still, mist curled in the valley, and the mountains stood like silent sentinels. Conversation was low, soldiers trading quiet jokes and nervously checking gear. Carla thumbed the worn stock of her rifle, listening to the slow tick of a distant clockwork. Then, without warning, she saw it. A light in the sky. Brilliant orbs descended through the clouds, touching down across the valley below, impossible and utterly silent. Before her eyes, the orbs resolved into something impossible. Tripods, massive mechanical machines taller than church spires, unfolded like iron trees. Their legs moved with piston-smooth precision, their bodies thrummed with a cold, humming energy. These were not weapons of any nation. They were engines, grotesque and alien, designed to consume something far more intimate than flesh. Carla watched in frozen horror as one tripod stalked a small village. A pale beam lanced down, wrapping a woman in light. Her face contorted as something luminous, like smoke and candlelight braided together, was ripped from her chest and sucked upward into the tripod's maw. The machine drank the soul, and the village shuddered in silence. When the light faded, the woman's body remained upright, but empty. Her eyes were glass, her limbs trembled and then warped. Flesh rippled, bones creaked, and a thing formed where a person had stood. "Open fire!" the sergeant barked. Carla and her troops fired in disciplined volleys, bolt action snapping, cartridges spitting brass. The creatures moved with animal cunning and terrible speed, but they were not invulnerable. Each required 5 precise shots to collapse, bullets finding fragile seams in their twisted forms. After the rifles hammered them down, Swiss field guns rolled up. Artillery thundered, shells shredding the carcasses into smoking fragments, the fortification ringing with the smell of cordite and burnt iron. Within hours, the tripods spread like a dark tide. They crawled across pastures and into alpine villages, into market squares and along railway lines. Swiss units were mobilized in ragged formations, mountain rifles and machine guns slashing at the grotesque ranks. Civilians fled in panic, entire hamlets emptied overnight. Yet the tripods themselves absorbed bombardment with cruel indifference. Shells bounced, armor groaned but held. 4 weeks of continuous battle ground down the defenders. Supply lines choked, reserves burned out, morale frayed. Each valley turned into a battlefield. Neutrality was ripped away as the country was hammered into open war. High Command issued a single grim order: fall back to Bern. Defend the capital at all costs. The tripods poured into the city like a flood, their energy beams carving avenues through centuries-old stone. Facades crumbled, bells fell, tram lines twisted in molten loops. Carla fought house to house, magazine after magazine emptied. Then a trench club came up and down as rifles clicked uselessly empty. Smoke and dust choked the streets. Wounded men called for medics that did not come. Through the haze, she saw movement on the horizon. Columns, banners, and the unmistakable mass of a foreign army advancing into the ruined city. The columns were Austro-Hungarian, regiments in dense phalanx, artillery wagons creaking, flags snapping. Thousands poured into Bern, not as occupiers but as allies pressed by their own calculus of survival. They surged into the streets, coordinating with exhausted Swiss units, rifles and machine guns, laying a suppressing curtain of fire that pushed back the creatures. Then they brought darker tools, canisters and shells of choking chemical agents. Emplaced at the tripod's approach, the gas plumes rose like low cloud, yellow-green and deadly. The machines, designed with ventilation intakes and recirculating systems, sucked the toxic air inside. Within the hulks, alien crews began to choke and seize. Controls stuttered. One by one, the great tripods staggered, a groan of metal and failing servos, then toppled like fell towers, crashing limbs across streets. Where once buildings burned under beams, now silence fell over the wreckage as the invasion's engines died. Carla sits on a broken wall amid the rubble of Bern, methodically cleaning her rifle with hands that tremble but refuse to stop. Around her, the city breathes in a fragile, ash-scented quiet. Soldiers trade stories in low voices. The dead are counted and wrapped. Survivors wander like sleepwalkers through ruined marketplaces. The battle is over, the tripods felled, but the cost is carved deep into the landscape and into those left standing. Switzerland will never be the same, and Carla, watching the distant smoke and the slow-moving Austro-Hungarian columns, knows the war that began with a light in the sky will haunt them for years to come.